Met these guys who had dug a big fern up in Santa Monica. Awesome experience, right? Dug this giant fern, had been on TV, and I was like, that's really cool, man. And I just recently run out of all my money again, so I was fresh on, hunger. So, and still talking and presenting, and people thought I was doing really well for myself. So in that position, I'm actually wide open. I met this fella who dug a big fern up in the beach. Well, what an awesome thing, man. You dug a giant 100-meter fern, that's amazing. And then within 24 hours, it's kind of like, this is going to be the brand for the next big thing. And I had another business partner at the time, and I was in a TV series that never aired in the end called Startup TV, right? Where basically camera guys would follow us around. They had mic up every morning and cruise around for about 3 months, and then got a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs and followed their stories. And we picked 10 of them and then followed their journeys and helped them grow their company, and brought everyone in, including like Rob was in at the start and the head of Trade Me, those kind of people in New Zealand, and brought them onto the show. And Richard McManus, who run the #3 blog in the world, and they'd be on a panel, and we were going through and helping these companies. And I wasn't there as a lead, I was just there as a facilitator, making the whole thing happen, right, as an entrepreneur. So cool process, and we had, a team of 3 shooters in the team every day, and we were producing this series for TV. So every episode was costing us about 14 grand just in raw pre-production, to do the shooting and everything. So I was watching all this in my eyes. I saw someone taking notes, time coding everything the whole time, soundy, 2 camera guys around me every single day, right? And I was like, I couldn't see this cost, I see the system. And then I started getting into that production process and owned a chunk of that production company, got about 20% of the company. And then we'd filmed this entire thing. It didn't quite air. But I'd met this other guy with footage, this fern, so I was like, cool. Launched this entrepreneurial community with this fern. Found out the next day, actually, he was bankrupt. His business partner was bankrupt, and they owed $450,000. So we were like, well, okay, yeah, that's a problem. So, but then we put our heads together, and the other 2 partners, pretty smart guys and stuff, and went to Telecom. We sold Telecom this dream that we were going to launch this ad on TV of this ginormous fern being dug in the beach, and indigenous Māori catching up with indigenous Indian Americans, and they were merging on the beach, and it's just an amazing thing. And Telecom's in the middle of it. Why? You get it? They go, wow, that's wow. We're shit, and that's wow. Cool. So they actually bought into that idea, and we're going to launch this community. So in 10 weeks, we managed to build this website that's made from New Zealand business community, and get the site up, and also get the footage bought, and we had to get it shipped over to New Zealand on a business class seat and film, shot on 45mm film, beautiful stuff, cranes, helicopters, everything like that, And then got this footage 10 days before the ad was going to air on TV, and we had $1 million contract, $1.1 million worth of, to pay for the production itself, and then to pay for the media. Meanwhile, we negotiated with Sky and TVNZ and all the networks to get this epic ad played on TV, and we negotiated directly without the media agencies, so we kind of learnt the Starcoms of the world that are global mediacom agencies. 20% of every bit of media placement, bypassed them, got double the airtime because we had this cool ad, and we were a cool young company that never spends money on TV, but suddenly we had a $600,000 TV budget, that was what we had. So we went and paid out the creditors and paid out everybody. We went around to Tim Morrison, went around to Rena Owen for people that are Kiwis, and we went around to these well-known Kiwis and just gave them cash and checks, just giving checks. And this guy that was a big fern sculptor hadn't had money in 2 years, and we give him a check. He's another 10 grand. Tim Morrison turns up, give him a hongy and stuff, and then 10 grand, bro. So yeah, this was awesome. So we were just running around town dishing out cash. It was pretty fun. It was a pretty amazing experience, dishing out cash. And then we had a launch, and this TV ad was played on New Zealand TV, and it was a 2-minute epic ad of this entire story which we'd told, and we had nothing. We'd run out of money at that point too, and I'd hired new developers. I'd taken on the space that 90 Seconds started in, and had about 9 developers at that point in time, and no video team. Yeah, the video team was just coming on board, and they just came out of uni, met these uni students, came in from film school, classic story that still exists today underneath the freelance community. They turn up and they're fresh out of film school. I said, oh, who's your best students? Comes these 3, had a chat to them, hey, what are you guys doing? And 2 of them go, oh, painting houses, and the other one's working in a cafe. And it's like, shit, well, you live in the dream. And they're like gutted. They were gutted with their roles. I was like, right, okay. And then I did a deal on the spot with the uni that if I could have their equipment for 3 months, that I would give these guys a job for 3 months and we'd try and create a business, right, in video. So I was like, cool. So we did the deal and brought them on, and I had this big TV ad going up. TV ad launches just in time, and we got paid a chunk of cash, and I was liquid again. We ran out of all money. We had the whole team up in Auckland and got 700 grand that night it aired. And it aired on all TV stations, and suddenly we had this brand in New Zealand. Everywhere you go, what do you do? Oh, we dug that big fern. Oh, the fern guys. Oh, yeah. It was like quite cool, quite a powerful thing with the brand, which was really, really cool. And then we started producing lots of video content, and we had a brand to lead it, so we could go around the events and turn up and start filming people. And then Telecom chucked us a 17 grand retainer to go around all the events, which I was doing anyway, So I started getting video revenue coming in. The rest of the vids were all created for free. So So right, we started creating free content. You know, we created about 200 videos profiling everyone from 42 Below, like a well-known Kiwi epic story, to Huffer, a cool clothing brand, and just making free content. Right? And I'd have the microphone every single time, or be mic'd up every day. And you know, at the time, you know, just a crew of 2 or 3 pretty young people cruising around shooting, and then come back and edit it. And so we grabbed 2 doors, you know, had a space, an entrepreneurial space, shared space, where I met Steve Guinness, who introduced me to Dave and Nick in this shared space. And you know, literally got 2 doors. The day after I met these uni students, chucked the 2 doors on crates and buy 4 Macs, boom, we're up and running. You know, we're a production business just on the spot, and then just hit the road and start talking to people, entrepreneurs, and harvesting content and making content. So we started making content. The first content was pretty, it was cool, but it was mixed. It was all over the show, right? All over the show. So you know, one night we're sitting there, and there's another video for 3 minutes and 46 seconds, and another one for 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and it's just long content. And like, it started cool, but then it's just boring, and then someone talking. So you got to cut the stuff back, guys. It's like you got to cut it back, like make it all like 90 seconds. It's like 90 seconds. 90 seconds, that's us. Grabbed the domain name. So that was the name. So the name popped out, you know, at midnight, after creating a lot of videos, probably about 100 or so videos, and running around doing these events and having this TV ad and being in the TV series, popped out. And when it popped out, I knew, great name, perfect name, right? Looking for, I'm a brandy guy, but it's got to come out, you know, and it popped out perfectly, right? So that was the brand name popping out, and you can see the production experience based on having, you know, we're a little crew of people, we're making content. So that was it, raw content creation. They weren't great producers by any means, but they're heavily creative, and you know, now work at Weta, Park Road Post, and Independent, right? So strong producers, but this is right at the raw. So going through that process, obviously, the idea of creating this platform started to pop out. I was like, oh, we can make a bit of software to do this, and there's no doubt about it, because I've been in the TV thing. I was in the middle of a TV set every day of my life for about 3 months, just looking around me, watching the waste and watching this, you know, the slowness of the whole thing and the cost. And I was like, this can change, and had the vision for doing it. And we're making some videos, like, oh, it's doable. So I'll fast forward a little bit, because just so you know, that's absolute roots. Because that root, obviously, right, that's the roots, right? It's for me. So for me personally, that's what happened. It's a natural explosion from a mix of multiple experiences that I kicked off, you know. So video was working for me, so I knew I was going to get into it. It was into media in a big way. I love getting the stuff happening visually. It sells companies, it works, you know. And I'd gone and launched at a big event in the US with a software company, and the launch event is, you know, you go to a demo event like demo.com, and you get 6 minutes on stage. They produce a 6-minute video, and then the 6-minute video goes everywhere. That's kind of it. That's what it is. And the media who are there see the same thing, and then that gets you on TV. So then I was on CNBC TV at the time as well again, and then you got on, I got two other stations, Canadian TV, you get a bunch of that kind of attention, and suddenly you're at these video assets, and that sells everything. So the software just sits there, and people come to the site, watch the video, sign up, watch the video, sign up, watch the video. So it's like, shit, that's it. That's the model, right? That's what's working. So it's really obvious to see that's how it works. So everyone needs video content. So I went out looking for video content, obviously, as well. Who can make it? And it was all slow and really high cost and really complex. And I was like, this is not, the future's really clear. You've got to click a button like everything else you're using. Click a button and something, you know, a bit of software sorts it out. So it wasn't there. So we started that process. Now it's been a slow start to that process, obviously, which we'll talk about soon. Had to do it really, really slow, because shortly after that, you know, I went from a point where I had five companies, and one of them was a joint venture with Kiwi Bank, and we had, you know, probably about 90 grand a month coming in from that, and online budgeting tool, 40,000 users around New Zealand, quite a cool thing. JV with a bank, so there's good cash flow coming out of that. The software company started building 90 Seconds, was building that platform, and had another company up in the UK, which was the business partner that, you know, helped us fund getting started in the UK with 90. So, you know, all these seeds, good strong seeds, but there was a point I had to make a decision, you know, if this is going to work, or something's going to work in my mix, because I had a bunch that just hadn't ever taken off, you know, then had to cut losses on things and make changes. So I made some changes, some really hard calls, and amongst some challenges, but made some really hard calls, and shut down that shared space that was, you know, full of love. It's like a really rough version of this, yeah, because I didn't. Yeah, huge space, and I never had the cash, as much as I had so many things happening, never had the cash even to buy the grass. But I could do everything else. So we demoed we had to demo it first and do all the demolition ourselves, you know, and then start to clean it up and that kind of thing. So to shut that down, lose about 270 grand on it. And then the software company thing with Heaps, it was like sitting there going, either I sit on this contract with them and pour love into it, but that would have split all my time, and you know the deal. So either Karen's over there and I'm over there with half my space in Heaps, maybe half my space there and half my space in 90, then that's what the company would have been born from. So it didn't. shut it all down, sold off what we could, went into a mediation with KeyBank, which was not enough to pay off the other debts from the other things we're shutting down. But went through that process, you know, which was a great process to go through. So real hard at the time. So, but went through that process, and right at the end of that process, you know, Inzi was in here selling some vid and wanting to jump into 90 seconds big time. He's with a web design company at the time, and I'd pretty much just, you know, again gone back to having, you know, financial. I was about to take another hit and then get a chunk of cash. So started taking the hit. Inzi's girlfriend moved out up in Auckland, you know, and I moved in that night. So I was on a ticket back, but he didn't really want to be on his own. I was like, oh, we'll stick around. And, you know, me and him just went down to a bar and grabbed a couple of drinks, met a couple of girls, went back home and stayed at his house. So then we started a commune in his house. It's important stuff. It's commune in his house because it's important because this is the roots of, you know, the roots. So in 90 seconds beginning, honestly, in the space we had in Wellington, was Nick saw as well and Dave saw. It's a commune. It's a commune. It's full on, man. Like, it's just people are living in there a bit, and there's a sound studio down the bit. We were making our own music, you know. So we had 2 drum kits, we had a full soundproof room and everything like that. Yeah, but that rawness is obviously, that's raw. I'm a raw dude, and you're seeing a version of a raw dude at the moment that's just refined in a bunch of areas, right? But raw. It's important to know because it's not like it's a new thing. Like, you know, oh, is that you, Norts? Is it really what he's like? Will he change? Raw. Absolute raw, because I love it. I love in the grass. You're in the grass. It's just there's something happening. So something's happening in that space, right? You can feel it, eh? You come to that space, something's happening there. So there's a heart of something there. I remember coming in, like a classic example, right? It'd be like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're about to launch Heaps, and we needed a launch video to launch the whole thing. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up from the front of the room after having an hour's sleep, and I open my eyes, wake up, and then you look, and it's just like there's power cables dangling from the ceiling, because we've ripped out all the ceiling and the walls, right? But we haven't finished the job because we're busy building the software. So we ripped the place to pieces up until Sunday, and then we've got to build the software again on Monday. So then you get back up, and it's time to go down the back, and we've just been working on a script for the video, recording the voiceover, recording the screen flows between the app, and then I cruise down the back with a blanket down me, and then this little Indian girl sitting down the back, 48 kgs, she's hard out, eh? Just should be hard out, one of the first 90 people, just works all night, and she's like, hey Timmy, and she's just in there, just finishing off this animation, and then the sound room's going, and Simon's in there, chooping on the voiceover, just in there on the rack, he's got a sound rack there, and that's just buzzing. Energy is high, it's high energy, you know. And then one of the lead KeyBank people turns up at like 7 o'clock, he's just starting fresh for the day, walks through the lift, comes around a pile of, you know, rubbish, because we hadn't managed to get it all out yet, ripping out walls and stuff, a pile of walls, just sitting there. He goes around the pile of wall and comes through, and boom, then we're in there, previewed the video. And it was an epic video, it was a great video, great piece of content. Yeah, straight now. It's a great piece of content, you know. It was created over this like 10-hour, just compressed period to create this content. And that content goes straight to the KeyBank board that morning, you know, straight to Jim Bolger, and so he looks at it. Michael Cullen looks at it. Great, you know, just got it, fund it, got the concept, love it, you know. And it goes live that day. And that was the ticket to letting them let go of all their personal finance data and let us ship it off to us. You know, it was the first time it was done. So that kind of pressure around creating content and that kind of culture in the company is right there at the start, right, bubbling. So we move into the next commune, right, Dave's house. And so he's got this leaky building, and he pays $170 a week or something like that. His girlfriend's gone, and she never came back. He moved on. So that was that life part over. And he's in this $170 a week house, leaky building with 2 rooms. One room, you can't go in that one room because it's the full leak. It's over. It's game over. Which is good because I don't like sleeping in rooms, so I move straight into the lounge. Perfect. Straight into the lounge, on the ground. Cool, I'm in there. Inzi's got a room, I move into the lounge, and that's our starting point. And from there, it's good because then we could host people, like, you know, video people needed to come up and bring them up from Wellington to edit for us and that kind of thing, and start building a bit of a base for ourselves while working in a shared space, because, you know, and we started traveling to Raglan, and then we moved out of that, and we moved into my car. Yeah, so 2011, moved out of the commune, went into the car, and then we lived on Steve Guinness's floor for a while. 3 months. And every night we would move out of the floor. You don't plan to sleep on a floor permanently.
I had the couch.
But you'd lie on the floor too, right? The cushions on the floor. Yeah. So we moved into the floor. So every morning we'd get up, pack our bags to leave, we're out of here, bring back into the car, and then go to the office, and then run 90 by day, maybe like 10 o'clock, wrap up and stuff, and then be like, where should we go? Yeah, probably go back to the floor. Yeah, okay, well, you know, go back to Guinness's, move back into the floor again, and then we live in the middle of the lounge. And then I remember one night we had a falling out or something because we're hanging around each other probably day and night, floor and office, you know, obviously it's pretty intense. And then Inzi bailed to the room or something like that, and I was pretty gutted with that, but anyway, it's fine, sleep on the floor. And then like 2 in the morning, this guy creeps out with a blanket, and then lies back down on the ground. And then we're back in our L shape, back on the floor again. I was like, yeah, full commune, eh? Full commune. So those days can't last forever, obviously, in that form.
Then we went
Campers, yeah, campers were good. That was a good phase, yeah, very good phase. Because you're fully mobile at that point, and we gave, did video credits for camper van companies. So you film their camper vans, and they give you camper van credits. So we're running a spreadsheet of just camper van credits and video credits, for a while. It's perfect. And so I guess, because we can't carry on the story forever, there's a lot in it, and you're wondering, well, where does it all fit in 100%? But I mean, that is truly, there's a lot of building around that, right? So, and it keeps it very real, because it's like not a lot of money flowing, obviously, right? The money doesn't flow out, it's always just flowing in. And you've got to keep the money in and pay the people that are working in the company and pay the freelancers, obviously, always, that's the first thing. So you just got to be focused, you're focused on that. As a result of it, everything else has to happen. Like, where would you sleep? Wow, I haven't got any money, it's floor, just sleep. All I want to do is sleep, cool. And then camper van credit, good, we'll sleep in a camper van, and then mobile, and then we've got a good gig with the Great Walks in New Zealand. We're fortunate to travel the whole country and have like 40 helicopter rides and 500 kilometres worth of walking, and did every track in the whole country. It was an amazing experience, obviously, and we did it personally. And again, did the first ones off our own back, lost a bit of money, and then won the contract for 120 grand to do the whole lot. That experience was incredible, obviously, just absolutely incredible. And then anyway, so we come back one bit, we've finished some of the Great Walks, we're back in this, he got a nice apartment finally, a bit of an upgrade in Parnell, and I'm back into living in the lounge when I come back from overseas and in and out of the country. Moved back into the lounge of that place there and stuff, and then turn up for his birthday party, one night after all the Great Walk stuff. Amazing thing, everyone was at his birthday party except him. Surprise birthday, surprise, yeah. Everyone's in the house, like 40 people, and we're all in the 2 bathrooms, dark, for like an hour. Everyone's like, you ain't fucking coming in a hurry. Everyone moves back out. Another hour passes. Eventually, anyway, turns up, great, have a little celebration stuff, great little parties. Oh, just great. What a great time. Son's at Great Walks, everything's good, business is good, great stuff. And he comes up to me and he looks me straight in the eye and goes, hey, Norts, I wrote your car off. And then bailed off again. I was like, and the people go, hey, mate, is he, you wrote my, yeah, it's gone. What do you mean it's gone? It's my car. It's gone. So, anyway, so it was written off. And I had one special box in my whole life, because I don't carry a lot of stuff. One special box of, it's the last special box of all the things. These are things like the little boomerang I got in Australia when I was 10 years old, my first trip around my parents. And then any little photos, and letters from my mum and dad, just a few little, it's all I carry, nothing else. The special stuff, all life, I lose everything else, minimalist as. And it's gone. So that was gone too. So that wiped out the last of that whole phase of life. Physical stuff is just gone. So it's like, well, now you get nothing. There's physically nothing left, which is another good trip back. So that happened, and you lost everything else after that as well. Your photos and everything. So it was just everything got physically lost. So those stages there, you look what we came out with. We come out with like a business, a really cool business, like 90 Seconds, and not afraid to not have everything else, And that's been a key part to getting the business here. And the attitude that gets into people, like if I think about, because it's pretty important, everyone understands who they're dealing with, because obviously everyone here has to deal with me. Like everyone has to deal with me, and I'm the hardest guy to deal with. There's no doubt. You're not going to be harder than me to deal with. It's impossible. Yeah. But if you understand me better, then it's easy to deal with me, obviously. Yeah. And a big part of obviously what happens is I look and I kind of see, I can never go bankrupt again, because I've done it twice. So, I mean it, right? And I didn't go bankrupt. What I did is instead I borrowed my way out of it, right? Which is even harder than going bankrupt, I can tell you that, right? Because you go down and you have to recover from the down. If you go bankrupt, you stop at the zero. So when I've gone down and managed months of going down and then under 400 grand, maxing out at 700 grand down, and then eating back up, right? It's 2 years, 3 years. I've been carrying debt even through the whole 90 Seconds build right up until now with my family. After being 10 years in business myself, completely self-funding myself, doing all my ventures, but then getting in a real challenging situation. And 90 Seconds, for example, if I didn't do the right things and borrow family money, then I would have had to bring in some maybe hostile investors, or while I was getting audited by the IRD on 5 companies in parallel, maybe hostile business partners who make some bad mistakes and want to get your money. And things get rough when money goes tough for people, and it's not easy on everybody, I learned that. So I can never have it happen, right? So if I think the company is in risk, it's autopilot, I will automatically jump, move before you even see what's about to happen. I can't even let you go near it, because it's not your mistake to make. I can't let it happen. So that urgency, the level of urgency comes in. And some people have had different experiences, losing stuff, but if you haven't, this is not the one you're going to have it on, right? There's a whole lot of risks I want everyone to take, mistakes I want everyone to make. There's some mistakes I just can't let happen. Can't let them happen. So that level of urgency will kick in. So if I sense there's too much risk around money or loss or security, all of which would cause irreparable damage that can take months to recover from and make you look backwards, is I autopilot. I will use any tool to stop it, including force. Yeah, and that's what some of you have felt, eh? It's yeah, because it's autopilot. It will go all the way. If I don't sense the level of urgency to match my urgency, I'll push it until it happens. It's all automatic because I will not get into that situation personally or the company. So that's just something driving me. So no, first thing. Second thing is, you can see we've lived without nothing for plenty of stages of the company. You don't expect everyone to live without nothing by any means, you know. And you look at this team here at the moment, and you look at the amount of money being paid to people. It's like it's great to have a company that can actually pay people. It really is. Like it's a great. Yeah, it's awesome, right? It's absolutely awesome because that means we've got a company. It's great, right? But when it comes to the money in the company, you look at it and you go, shit, we can make a lot with nothing. We've done it before. So every time you look at something by default, you kind of go, well, we can always make something. We don't need money to make. We need money if it's looking good. It's easier, we'll throw money at it. But by default, you want something to happen without money. So that attitude, obviously, you can see if anyone in the company, not on this leadership team, in the team, doesn't have that ethos, that's a bit of a problem, you know. Because creativity is not funded, I know that for a fact, as you can probably see in here, right? Creativity is raw, absolutely raw. And everyone's got it, so you want to get the creativity in the whole team. This team, everyone else in the teams, creativity. No barrier to it, there are no problems, there are no issues. No one in your teams, no one in the entire team will face any issues that can't be overcome. I know you know it, right? It's just the fact, it is the fact. Because they're not even in a position of adversity. If you're in a position of adversity, you can still address challenges. When you're in a position where you're getting paid, where the company's actually performing pretty good as a whole, any problem you're facing, all your job is to get the right attitude and then solve, because it's all doable, and get into opportunity mode as fast as possible. So that ethos, if I see that ethos drop, again, you'll see my urgency radar go up pretty fast, you know, and yeah, we haven't obviously had this level of leadership until now, you know, it's been growing recently, so different phase, I'll go right to people, direct, you know, and I've obviously removed a lot of that more recently, so that I'm not bypassing people and going straight to them despite what I'm seeing. That takes me a little bit to calibrate to, because automatically wise, I'm watching, and you might be sleeping, and I've just seen something, and I don't want to wait, so I just act, and I'll act quite quick, you know, because I just feel like a guardian. I'm quite happy to do it, so that's what I'll do by default. So backing off on that, I think the culture of the people beyond this team, you can probably sense what I'd love to have get passed around, you know, and if that gets infused in every single person, it's a real good quality, eh? It's a good quality, because then everyone will look at it and go, I can create, I've got plenty of money, I've got no constraints, I'm not facing adversity, I'm in a great situation. And if they feel that strength, if that works, then good. If that doesn't work for them, let's put them in a position where it's really challenging, then if that's what motivates them, you know, whatever it is that motivates you. So me personally, I don't want to be in a position of adversity in order to be motivated anymore. I've proven that I can if there is. So if we get in trouble, I can tell you this, I am the guy that you want to have around. Nothing will faze me. Nothing will faze me. Even if it get urgent, it ain't phasing me. That's just me getting things sped up, it's all good. Nothing will phase, eh? We can solve any problem. So the level of risk we're taking at the company at the moment, it doesn't feel very high, but we've increased it. We definitely increased it. We'll talk about it soon. We definitely increased it. We just grew the company in the last 8 months on debt. For the first time in this growth, let's do it on debt. So we went up to like about 600 grand down in debt, and then we just completed capital raising and paid it off, boom, done. Just last week, and it's all nicely timed. 8 months of using debt, growing the value of the company a little bit. At the same time you're growing it through debt, it automatically makes me a little bit more responsive. I want more sales quickly because debt money at the moment, so I prefer to kind of get as much sales coming in as possible. Suddenly the sales increase faster, urgency goes up. February and March were epic months. Sales fly in, holy shit, we closed 1.2 million in 2 months, finished the year just on target. That was hard work, everybody, it was hard work, and it worked. It works. And you open up the year now and we've just recruited the shit out of the business. We've just, you know, it's been phenomenal. And you look at that is risk, because every time you add one, I used to do this calculation, you add them on and you use their salary annually and you go, that's how much money we need, but then you go, you can't do that, otherwise we've just hired 23 people, we need about $2.3 million. We don't have that money. So you just go back and go, no, you don't. No, we don't need that, we need 3 months. You go, we don't even need that, really, do we? We kind of need, if the person's going to work and perform and start performing after the sixth week or the 7th week, then you start to get, you know, and if you can get people paying them back after the 7th week and then you're hiring the next person, you go, shit, 7-week payback, go, next, and then you start hiring. So we've been playing with that for the last 5 months, you know, a bit more stretching on the risk front, and doing it through debt, and we're just, you know, taking a bit of money. So, yeah, if you know, if that culture can move through the company, obviously it's going to be, I think it's going to be, you know, valuable. We don't want to put people through probably the same experience we've gone through, you know, and I'm definitely conscious of that, because it's hard, and some people it's going to be too hard, and it's also probably, it's not necessary, but it's valuable if it's done in the right way. So I'm being a little bit open here at the moment, I think, just raw open for me, because it's key, because then we can just have a bit of feedback. But because I like people getting a sense of that and exposure to it, because I think if they don't, they're less in, they're just less in.